Hi Cancers, I'm Ellie Rose for Psychic Future, and this is your horoscope from the 9th to the 15th of March. So this week we have got two really big things happening. We have got a full moon in Virgo, and we also have the end of Mercury retrograde. Now, the end of Mercury retrograde, most of you are kind of like, whew, thank God that's over. But this is going to be very much linked with this full moon. This full moon is in Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So this is a very mercurial kind of week. And what you will find is that you are very much focused on your thoughts. So obviously, you being Cancer, you're ruled by the moon. So any new moon and full moon, they really affect you. So what you will find on this particular full moon is that you are really focused on details of things. Now, this can manifest in so many different ways. It can be that you are focused on the details of your home and you're like, hey, I really need to reorganize my wardrobe. I really need to tidy up my kitchen. I really need to just, kind of fiddle with everything and reorganize and tidy. If that is the case, go nuts, because it's a perfect time for doing that. It can also be that you become a little bit nitpicky with things, so be careful not to nitpick at your relationships, because what you're seeing right now is perhaps not an exact representation of real life. So if you find yourself being like, oh, that person is really annoying me, try and just leave it for a couple of days, because it might just be that the full moon is making you hyper aware of things. That perhaps these are things that are in everyday life just small, it's just a small annoyance, but because of this like intense full moon energy and the end of Mercury retrograde, it's almost like things are much stronger in the front of your mind now, so you can find yourself being like, oh my god, this person is driving me insane. And if you then kind of act on that, if you go crazy at them or whatever, then you will find that maybe the next week you go, actually, that wasn't really a very big deal. I was just very hyper aware of details at that time. So be careful in your communications with other people, especially because at the end of Mercury retrograde, it's almost like Mercury is trying to teach us these lessons, how to communicate nicely, how to communicate truthfully, how to communicate with care and respect, these kind of things. So be very gentle in your communications with others. That is not to say that you shouldn't, pick at anything. You should just ignore things, because you have got a good chance to be very organised this week. So in particular, things at work, like say you notice some details, some problems, and you want to discuss that with a colleague, then do that, because actually at this time you've got a very good chance of seeing things a little bit clearer, being a little bit more organised, and being able to perhaps have a little bit of an effect on other people, like leadership and these kind of things. So yeah, if you do notice something, just communicate that with respect and a little bit gently, and that should go a little bit better for you, rather than kind of just nitpicking. So yeah, this is your full moon, guys. I know it's not a very exciting full moon, but it is just kind of focusing on the details of our lives. So yeah, just try not to get lost in the details, but also use this to your advantage. So happy full moon. I hope you have a lovely one, and I'll see you next week.